Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I have another new foundation to try out with you guys. This time it's new from Juvia'S Place. This is the new Juvia'S Place Natural Radiance Foundation. So if you guys want to see my first impressions, everything you need to know about this foundation and a wear test, then definitely keep on watching. Actually pretty unexpected. I love to go onto the Ulta website and look at the new arrivals, and of course when I looked on there one morning I saw that Juvia'S Place silently dropped a new foundation. They also dropped a new powder foundation, but I don't have my hands on that. I just decided to pick up the Radiant foundation. So it seems like my 2023 prediction is that we're going to be seeing a lot more Radiant foundations going into the new year, because Makeup by Mario just dropped a new Radiant foundation. If you haven't seen my review on that, definitely go and check that out. And now Juvia'S Place has come out with one. I wonder which brand is going to be next, but I'm really excited to dive into this. So let's get into a little bit of gist about this. But before I do, I just wanted to say, if I sound weird, it's because I'm currently sick. I have a really sore throat, but of course I am pushing through these videos because I haven't posted quite frequently in the past 2 weeks, and I need to make up for that. This foundation retails for $23. It is available now at Ulta as well as on the Juvia'S Place website. So the I Am Magic Natural Radiant Foundation is an easy glide foundation for a flawlessly radiant and luminous complexion, both light and hard working. This water resistant formula will naturally minimize imperfections to smooth, protect, and hydrate the skin with lasting results. This also has some key ingredients, which are vitamin A and C, and they have acerola cherries. So I'm excited to dive into this. Now, this does have 30 shades, which is really nice. So there's 30 shades to choose from. I picked up 2 shades because I had no idea which shade would be, you know, my shade. So I picked up the shade Cameroon 305 and Bourbinka 310. I will say, I do think that if you know your foundation shade and the regular foundation from Juvia'S, the shades kind of match. I forgot my shade. I never could find my perfect shade in the OG foundation, so I just picked up 2 just to see what it's working with. Glitter on my face from this eyeshadow. So for primer, I'm going to go with my Huda Beauty Water Jelly Primer. I'm just going to take this all over the face. This doesn't really this isn't a mattifying primer or a smoothing primer. It's just kind of like a hydrating primer. And I feel like my skin is so dry right now. So let's try out this first shade, the lightest one I picked up, which is Cameroon. I think this one might be really light, but this is the packaging on the foundation. It is absolutely beautiful. I love the packaging on this. I love the colors. This product is made in Italy and it is a cruelty-free product. It has that on the back. It does say 30% bonus. You get a 40 milliliter for the price of a 30 milliliter, which is interesting that they include that little tidbit right here on the foundation. And then on the little cap, it says shake well with cap facing downward. So I'm just gonna give the product a little bit of a shake. One is Cameroon. This is the lightest color I picked up. I'm gonna take a couple of pumps. It does have a pump on it, which is cool. Just pumping it so I can get the air out. It took out a lot of air. So this shade does look too light for me. So I'm just gonna place it here. Cameroon looks actually really good once you blend it in. Okay, so that's Cameroon. Then we have Bourbinka. This is a deeper shade. Ooh, but I'm liking, this one just blends in to the skin. Let me try swatching on the face. So this one is Bourbinka. And then this one is Cameroon, but I think Cameroon looks like a better match because of the undertone. That's the shade I'm going to go into. If I feel like it's not working out, we might have to mix the other shade with it. But I'm going to use a sponge on this side and then a brush on this side so we can kind of see how it compares with both. And I'm just going to go into the brush first. So we can just... This does have a smell. It doesn't smell bad. It smells really good. You guys to be aware that there is a sort of smell to this foundation. but it smells really good. It smells like that cherry ingredient that's in this foundation. That's exactly what it smells like. It smells like a fruit. It smells like cherries. Now, this is a medium coverage foundation, but it covers, and it's honestly really pretty. Shade match might be a little bit too light, but I can kind of like fix that up and work with it. I'm actually gonna go in with the other shade, Verbinka, on the other side just to see. But so far, this is one side of my face with the foundation. It definitely does cover. I don't really feel like it's super natural. Like, I feel like I can kind of tell that there's foundation on my skin, but it still looks really pretty, and there's a really subtle kind of radiance to it, but it does have a scent. I keep saying that because I want you guys to know there is a scent to this foundation. I don't know about the shade for me, but I guess I'll just keep the same color. Try it with the sponge on this side. And I want you guys to see my birthmark. I'm covering that up now. Okay, so I am noticing that going in with the sponge, I feel like my skin is much more radiant. I can see more radiance with the foundation. So if you're intrigued to buy this foundation because of the radiance, then I would recommend using a sponge to apply it, just because I feel like I'm more dewy on this side, and this is a damp sponge. It's not a dry sponge, so that's probably why it's just helping the product to sink in. Though this foundation claims it's a medium coverage, I feel like it's more so on the high medium coverage, like it's almost full, because my birthmark is not really super noticeable, and that was just one pump of the foundation on one side of my face. My skin looks really good. I'm not seeing anything settling in. I will say it looks like this foundation kind of dries darker than what it looks like with a swatch. So once it dries down, it kind of like adjusts to your skin. There's other foundations that I've tried that kind of do that. If you tried the Charlotte Tilbury, matte foundation, that foundation also does it. It's one of those foundations where if you swatch it and you just leave it there, it's not gonna really look like it's your color. Whereas if you blend it out and you let it dry down, it kind of like adjusts to your skin. It's like literally perfect. So I always recommend doing that, but this is the kind of vibe this foundation is kind of giving me. I do kind of still smell the scent of the foundation just a tad bit. Since I just tried the Makeup by Mario and I'm trying this one out, I will say this one I feel like has way more coverage that you don't have to build up to get to. The Makeup by Mario foundation, I feel like you kind of have to like build it up a little bit to get that, that high medium, whereas you go in with just this, you're there. You're already at the high medium. I do feel like if you want to just go in with a little bit less than what I did, you definitely can. I feel like that's possible. Just if you want something a little bit more, everyday, natural, not super makeup looking, I feel like you definitely can go lighter with this foundation and it'll still cover whatever you want to cover. So far, I really like it. My only, critique is that the scent in this will probably be off-putting to some people. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup, and then we're gonna come back and see how everything looks, and then we're gonna get started with the wear test. Right, so here is my makeup all done, and right now it is 1:44 p.m. I'm gonna get started with this wear test. Now, put on a mattifying primer. I just went in with my Huda Beauty Water Jelly Primer, but let's take a look at the skin and see how everything is looking. Now, as I was doing my makeup, I honestly wasn't completely sold on the shade. I don't know if this is a good shade for me. It seems like a tad bit too light, but I do like the undertone of it. So if these do come in stores to Ulta, I will definitely, take a look at the other shades and kind of like see which one I think would match me the best. But so far, this is a good, shade at the moment, I guess. But I'm not completely sold on it. But now that my makeup is all done and everything has come together, I really love the finished look. I feel like my skin looks really healthy and beautiful and just super radiant. Now that I have all of this other makeup on, I don't really smell the scent of this foundation, but let's take a look at the skin. Everything looks really gorgeous, okay? I'm obsessed with the skin. First impressions, I'm really liking the foundation a lot. I'm loving how my skin is looking. Now, I will say this is not a super natural foundation. Like, it looks like I'm wearing foundation, if that makes sense. Like, when I first purchased this foundation, I don't know why I thought that it would be more of kind of like a tinted moisturizer. I don't know if it's the packaging or what, but it's definitely not a tinted moisturizer if that's what you think. It definitely does have some coverage, and this is Juvia'S Place. So we know Juvia'S Place loves to give us coverage, but I really like how my skin looks. Honestly, it looks really, really good. So we're gonna start this wear test. I have combo oily skin, so I know I am gonna get oily for sure, but it just depends on how oily and if things start to separate. So that's what I'm kind of gonna look for. So like I said, it is 140. Well, now it's 147, but we're gonna start the wear test and I'm gonna come back and check in with you guys in a couple hours. So it is now 4:06 p.m. and I'm not even gonna lie, I am looking a little bit oily, just a little bit. Like, I feel like I look like a glazed donut right now, but that is because I did not put on a mattifying primer. Honestly, this is a radiant foundation, so it's kind of to be expected, to be honest, especially because I just know for me, with like foundations like this, I would go in with a mattifying primer. So far, as far as like the wear and everything looks good. No separating or anything like that. Smile lines still look pretty good. I did no touch-ups. It's just I'm starting to get oily around my brows and my T-zone area, which is typically where I would get oily. So, and of course my nose, shiny. I didn't put on any highlighter today either, so it's already starting to kind of like wear off on my nose, but this is how we're looking so far. But so far I am really, really impressed with how this is looking. It is time for our very last check-in, and my makeup, not even gonna lie, it looks oily. And right now it is 5:57, so it's basically 6 o'clock, and I've had this on since about, like, I started putting it on around 12-ish, but like finished at like 1. Let's take a look at the makeup. So I'm looking at the monitor and I look super, super oily. I feel like my makeup has definitely gotten oily on my forehead for sure. It doesn't look horrible. Like, don't get me wrong, my makeup does not look horrible. For about 6 hours, I feel like my makeup looks pretty good. Like, I could keep going, but I am gonna end it here. It definitely did come off on my nose. But really, I'm really seeing the most oiliness on my forehead. I'm not mad at this foundation. I think it looks really, really good, and I'm honestly thoroughly impressed. This is a foundation I definitely would continue to reach for. Like I said, there is a scent to this foundation, so if you are sensitive to smells, you might not like this. This is kind of, it does smell kind of like fruity, kind of like cherries, which that is one of the ingredients in this foundation. But I really like it. The coverage is really nice, and I feel like this is a foundation that I'm definitely gonna use a mattifying primer with, like I do with all of my foundations. But let me know what you guys think about this. Are you guys gonna pick it up? What are your thoughts? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.